welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a slightly different video. It is actually part of a travel vlog. So I am actually back home in my childhood home right now with all of my family, which has been absolutely amazing. Funnily enough, everyone's out currently, so it's just me at home, but it has been wonderful. I've had a chance to catch up with a lot of really good friends who I haven't seen in quite some time because we haven't been home in a minute. Also, my family growing up, I was very invested in Indian music and dance and all these things. I've been trained in the art forms. And then as life progressed, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Similarly, my brothers have also learned violin, music, and all these kinds of things. And my husband is actually a percussionist, as I'm sure many of you have heard randomly throughout other videos on this channel. So my mom decided to host a event last night at the house, which was like super low key and just with like close friends. And we basically had a nice little jam session at the house. So one of our beautiful, talented singers in the Dallas metropolitan area actually came over. And we also had a very close set of friends who play drums as well as violin who came. And my husband actually played as well. And we had a nice little jam session at home. So that was like super chill and a great vibe. So I will definitely post videos of that here as well. today was great because it's actually a little overcast. It's a little like vibe outside right now. It's like very cozy weather. So guys and gals, you know what I do when it comes to cozy weather, and that is reading. And of course, we're doing a book channel, so reading did commence. And I have been sinking my teeth into Powerless. And oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with the banter in this book. Now, I have talked to a lot of people who have read both Powerless as well as Reckless, and they did mention that the second book actually has even more banter in it, and it's that even more cute and even more fun. And then from the few reviews I've seen of Fearless so far, everyone states that it's great. So I'm so glad to be enjoying this story. Currently, I am at the part where they finished the first trial, they're on to the ball, and I just have to say, I'm really loving the dynamic in this book. I fully don't understand if there is a love triangle happening. If people have read this book and they know if there's a love triangle, please comment below, because it does seem like both brothers might be interested in our main female lead character, which I find very fascinating. Also, I noticed that the main female lead speaks a lot about her quote-unquote best friend, but I feel like her best friend doesn't really have too much of a role in the story thus far. So very interested to see if her character actually takes on more of a role outside of just like being a seamstress and like a character from her past. And then I just read the scene about like the resistance and what's going on. So just as a little bit of a background for this book, essentially it is taking place in this kingdom where a plague has just struck. So a plague has just struck the kingdom, and now everyone is either in a category of being elite, which basically means that after the plague struck, they all received magical powers that allow them to have special abilities. For example, telekinesis, or the ability to multiply themselves in combat, or be ridiculously strong, or be mind readers, or people that can silence other people's powers, or like copycats, where they can basically take on the power of whoever's around them. So various different kind of powers, and these people are called the elites. And then outside of the elites, you have the quote-unquote ordinaries, who are people that are born or have continued to live past the plague without actually developing any special abilities. Now, the king decided to basically exile or kill all of the ordinaries because he felt like with the mixing of the ordinary blood and the elite class would basically get diminished, and their quality, quote unquote, or their stock would essentially start going down if they mix with the ordinaries. So, you know, it was a little intense reading that currently, if you know what I mean. But once I was getting through that section, then it becomes a little bit more like romantic-y vibes, where basically this girl is trying to pretend like she is an elite. She basically states that she's a psychic, which is a quote-unquote mundane power. So even within the elites, you have different tiers of elites based on the magical powers that they have. And there are trials that happen every year, which have been happening for 7 years since the great purging that occurred, where all of these ordinaries were kicked out. And now basically what's going on is there's a small band of resistant ordinaries that have been formed that are basically fighting back against the king, and they're trying to do it in subtle ways. So the king is aware that this is happening, but the kingdom does not. And on top of this, the king's own sons are now of age to compete in these various trials. One of the sons, the eldest, is considered the one who is going to be taking over his role as king. So he has been transitioned into this role with the idea of being trained to be a king, whereas his brother was basically given the task of being the enforcer, basically the one who carries out the laws and the rules for the protection of the kingdom and for the king, and his abilities to basically take on other people's abilities as his own and then channel them and use them. So in the midst of all of this, there's some crazy things that happen, and basically he had gone into the slums, which is where our main female character is living, and she's put in a position where she has to rescue him. This is all in the back of the book, so I feel like I'm not giving too many spoilers here. And so basically, as the trials that we were talking about that celebrate this quote-unquote purging that happens, which allows elites to gain great honor and prestige if they win these trials, they are looking for 7 contestants to compete. 8? Hold, please. I think it might be 10 contestants to compete in this trials. And it just so happens that the prince is going to be one of them, who is also the one who's going to be the enforcer. Not the one who's bound to be king, but quote unquote the spare, if you will. And then after she saves the prince's life, the common folk of the slums basically vote her to take on the role of being at the kingdom and competing on their behalf in these trials. So now she's in a position where she has to compete. She has to convince everyone that she's still an elite. And meanwhile, he is basically in the role of killing off people who are like her. So he's also in a tricky situation because he doesn't realize that she doesn't have a power as of yet. And now they're competing against one another, but at the same time, they're creating relationships and they're forming, new bonds, and there's a little bit of romance and banter that's happening. So if you're looking for a book that's high stakes, very good in terms of romance, and you have something that has like great banter, slow burn, this is your book. And I am enjoying this so much. I am currently about 2/3 of the way through this book, so I'm on page 330 of like 400 and something odd pages. How many pages are in this book? 497 pages in total in this book. So yeah, right about like 2/3 of the way through. I am thoroughly enjoying this and would strongly recommend. And the weather outside is just like perfect weather for reading. Outside of that, there's just been a lot of things that are going on. So this morning, I ended up also going out to meet my lovely ladies. We went to a place called Whiskey Cake, which was absolutely delicious. Their food is excellent. So I will also put in clippings here of the various food items that we got. And it was just so nice to see the girls. I'll also have some photos here of the three of us together. And it was just so nice to catch up and have a lovely ladies' day. Now I'm actually about to go get changed, and then we're going to go to a dance performance where one of my very close family friends, I've known her since she was probably like 2 years old, is actually performing and dancing. So I'm really excited to go see her perform. She is now in her 20s, and she's a beautiful dancer, very, very put together girl. She's just so lovely. So that's going to be wonderful. And then once we get back, I'm going to go on a lovely walk with another good friend of mine. And then my brother and his fiance wanted to do something with just the four of us. So we're probably going to go out, the four of us being the two of them and then my husband. And then unclear as to whether or not my second brother will be joining us. They're twins. So as I was editing this video, I also realized I was so mesmerized by our family friend's dance performance. Like, she was so beautiful performing that I forgot to take any videos because I was just completely focused on the dance, but she did a tremendous job. I've also inputted some clips of where we ended up going when we went out with my brother and his fiance. It was great. We went to a nice little barcade. We had a great time, so that was a lot of fun, and it was just such a lovely, lovely day. They may or may not join, so we'll go do that. And then tomorrow is actually Easter, so I'm probably not going to go out anywhere, but I am very excited to just like celebrate with my family. We are Hindu. We are not of Christian background, so we're not going to do anything specifically towards Easter, but we do love the fact that we get to spend time as a family and celebrate the things that really matter, and it's just such a beautiful time to be at home. So that's basically what's happening on this end. I will definitely add those clips of Whiskey Cake and then keep you guys posted as the weekend progresses. But yeah, it's always fun to come home to Dallas. If we go to anywhere cool, I will definitely take some videos of that for you guys as well. Until next time, see you guys soon. Sadly, it was then time to go home. So just a little bit of clips of the overall airport look, because I was very proud of this one, not gonna lie. I matched my luggage almost perfectly. And then just a clip of the Dallas airport as we are heading home. But it was a lovely, lovely Easter weekend. I know I didn't get too much footage of Dallas in and of itself, but I still wanted to at least capture the weekend and the vibes. And it was just such a lovely Easter weekend. And I have to say, family is just so important, and it's so wonderful to have them nearby in a way where I can still go visit whenever I want to. But it was just a pleasure to be able to go home, and I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of this footage and basically what the weekend looked like with a little bit of an Indian touch and flair to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you that are new here, my name is Jaya. I put up videos every Wednesday and Sunday, usually on bookish related content, sometimes with a little bit of random, and this would be that random. If that sounds like it's up your alley, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. And for those of you that are returning, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for celebrating with me, with my family, and wherever you are, whichever holidays you celebrate, I hope you had a joyous weekend and you had a wonderful, wonderful time with your loved ones as well. Bye, guys.